Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is KidLee, and this is episode 12 of the Intergalactic News Network. In this week's episode, we'll be going over all of the news of the week. We'll check out some dev chats, some add-ons, and then I'll wrap up the show with a little bit of Q&A. In this week's news, the devs have released the July update for all classes, giving us some information on the current and future path for each class. So I will be going over all of the key items that they have discussed. So we'll go ahead and we'll start out with the Stalker, and most everything that I'm reading here are quotes from the developers. So with the Stalker, they said, with the recent patch, we addressed quite a few things to help the Stalker's issues we were seeing in PvP. Overall range has been increased on attacks. Impale Tier 4 armor penetration was increased. Movement speed was increased in stealth. I reduced the resistance penalty while in nanoskin lethal. Tactical retreat no longer shows a smoke trail, so people can't detect you quite as easy. As far as the future for the Stalker, CC Breaker, we are working on adjusting the ability to have it be a basis CC break that is more usable by both tank and DPS. Nanoskin Agile, we want to make this stance a more viable option. Neutralize, this will have its cost increased, stack reduced by 1. Impale, this will hit 2 targets up from 1. Bloodthirst, this will be a more viable utility ability at their base tier. As far as bug fixes, we will have more bug fixes on the way to resolve various issues. As far as the Stalker tank, currently the Stalker tank is performing well in raids and dungeons, but is a little stronger than intended in PvP, and we have slightly balanced changes prepared for an upcoming patch. Next up is the Engineer and the all-important topic of bot AI. In the short term, we will continue to resolve bugs as they come up. For the long term, we have developed a plan that should greatly improve pet behavior, performing audits on all spells in order to address issues that are not obvious but are negatively impacting gameplay. Looking into revisiting Mortar Strike and finding a place where it could really shine. General tanking damage output and threat pacing. We're looking into ways to increase damage output of all tanks and normalizing threat generation. DPS balance across all classes is something we're actively reviewing and have some major changes in the works for the Engineer. Generally, the Engineer is in a much better spot now than we were or it was at launch. However, we will keep up the work in order to squash the bugs, improve the bot behaviors, and introduce more quality of life improvements. Spellslinger. Spell Surge will once again be castable while casting. We've spent a lot of time working on the back end of spells to make this happen, and we believe this will really help smooth out the Spell Surge's usage. As a result of this change to Spell Surge, we have also been able to clean up a number of issues with AMP proc events. This will include fixes to AMPs such as the 1 surge damage and healing aura. What to expect after the above changes? Going forward, we are looking to improving certain aspects of the support spec on the Spell Slingers. Let's switch on over to the Medic. Let's talk about some DPS. The hot topic of gamma rays. The range will be increased to 20 meters up from 17.5. The target count will be increased from, 2-3 up from 1. Quantum Cascade, the size of the second tick will be increased by 25%, and the third/fourth ticks by 50%. Atomize, this will become castable while casting other spells and will have a 100% chance to generate an actuator. switching over to healing. The reboot amp, this will be modified to trigger on targets below 30% shield rather than 0 shield. Dual shock, like Atomize, will also become castable while casting. AoE healing and interrupt armor. This portion of the medic's AoE healing kit are currently overtuned and will be adjusted. Additionally, the duration of interrupt armor are going to be reduced across the board, and the medic will start to see this change first. For the warriors, the devs say, "We have heard your complaints loud and clear and are working to resolve the issues you are facing." Warrior tanking, lots of changes here. Menacing strike, this will gain additional threat generation per tick. A T8 will be changed to be less RNG but with a cooldown. Jolt, this will be transitioned to a kinetic energy generator. Plasma wall, this will lose some mitigation to gain bonus threat. T8 will be redesigned to be focused on personal damage mitigation. Atomic spear, this will also be triggered when a warrior's attack is deflected. Additionally, this will be castable while casting. Bolstering strike, the cooldown will be increased and healing will be increased so that this will be used for burst shield healing rather than having to spam it. Polarity field, or polarity field, however you want to say it, this will gain additional threat per tier. T8 will be redesigned to increase the field effectiveness on enemies who are taking damage from both fields. And let's see here. Expulsion. The cooldown will be increased and will only cleanse 1 debuff but gain bonus threat. T4 will be changed to deal additional damage at higher energy levels. And finally, we have got the Esper. Crush. We are working to get a fix in as soon as possible to address the bugs that is preventing the animation and FX from playing. Spectral form. This will now become castable while moving. Telekinetic strike. This will now become castable while moving. The T8 bonus will now only require 3 psi point charge stacks, down from 6. Concentrated blades, the hit delay will be reduced to 3 seconds, down from 4.4 depending on your tier, or 3.4 depending on your tier. The 4-tier bonus will be changed to refund 2 charges per 10 seconds. And finally, Blade Dance, the channel time will be reduced to 2 seconds, down from 3 seconds. So let's go ahead and move on to some dev chat. One question that I see all the time is whether or not you get rested XP from a neighbor's house. Well, we finally have an official dev response on this, and the answer is yes. You do get rested experience when logged out at a neighbor's or alt's house. The question was asked, in beta, didn't we have a battle theme? Jeff Kirschnacker then replied, yes, sorry for the confusion. I made a change to the way battle music functioned. In beta, the battle music would interrupt the zone music every time you drew your weapon, which, as you know, in WildStar is very often. So the zone music was always getting interrupted, and sometimes only for a few seconds if you're fighting something really easy. I spent a lot of time crafting the zone music, and I wasn't happy with how it was constantly being interrupted by the battle music. So I made a change to only engage battle music when you are really in for a good fight. So when you battle something at a relatively higher level, you will then hear the battle music kick in. And finally, the last dev chat of the week is simply a picture of community manager Tony Ray drinking his morning coffee out of a classic Ninja Turtles mug. Tony, you're the best. Let's go ahead and move on to the add-on of the week. The add-on that we're going to take a look at this week is called Item Preview Improved. So by default, without this add-on, if you want to look at a piece of armor, weapons, whatever, the item has got to be in your inventory in order for you to look at said item. Basically, what this add-on does is it opens up all other opportunities and options to you. So you can look at stuff that's linked in chat, you can look at stuff on the auction house, and so forth and so on. So just as a quick example, I have a sword here. If I want to see what this actually looks like, I can control right click on the item and it brings up this little window here. And I can take a look at that sword. Now normally, as I just said, that is the only option that you would have. But here, I actually linked it into chat, and now with this add-on, I can control right click in chat, and it brings up the stat window and the item preview window. So pretty cool stuff on that. So let's do another just quick example here. We'll go to the auction house. Let's find something here. Let's see, weapons. Here's a gun. Again, control right click. Bang, bang, boom. There is the guns. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is Item Preview Improved. A really cool add-on that you should definitely check out. If you would like to submit questions for future shows, send questions to KidLee, asf@gmail.com, or send me a private message on YouTube. The first question of the day comes in from Parquet. They ask, I was wondering if, since I have a rocket ship house, if I buy a new house, do I lose the rocket one? Where do I find it if I want to switch it back out? Okay, so let me show you how this system works. So we're here on a sky plot here, and in front of me is a house. So if we pretend that this is the rocket ship house, and you want to replace it with another one. So down here you click on landscape, and you have your center plug, which is your house plug. If I were to switch it over to the cozy Orin house, or the cozy Granok house, I could replace it, and the house that I currently have would go away, and it would replace it with the one I'm putting down. All items you have in your house would go back into your crate. So the question is okay, let's say I go with the Granok house, and I want to put the spaceship house back up, which is this one. Basically, it's still in this list, so all you have to do is re-click on your spaceship a second time, hit a replace, and it will be back the way it was. But again, all of the items that you had in the house will have to be replaced. The second question of the day comes in from Terror Claw. They ask, I am fairly new to the game. I have a warrior that is about 15, but the question is, do I have to do all path missions in every zone? Are they absolutely necessary? Well, a couple things on this. First of all, path missions are completely optional. You could pick a path at the character creation and completely skip everything, and it would not affect your leveling or the story of the game in any way. But the path missions are basically just additional gameplay content that, you would want to do based on how you like to play MMOs. If you do actually complete all the path missions in a zone, there are zone rewards that you will get for doing so. And again, well, doing all the path missions in every zone will also make it so you actually level or get to max level on your path quicker, rather than just doing some here, some there, and then you're getting to end game and you basically have to go back. But again, that's always an option too. I mean, maybe you want to just skip them or just do some here and here, there, anywhere, and then once you hit max level, then you have something more to do once you're at max level. So that's always an option as well. The third and final question of the day comes in from Kendra. They ask, I am currently trying the game out via a trial account. I have now completed all quests I could find in Levion Bay, and I am absolutely stuck. I have gotten no information or quests that show me how to move on from here. All normal quests, path quests, and challenges have been completed for the area. So basically asking how to proceed. Well, with all of these starting zones, there is a quest that always has you move on to the next area. It's possible, well, two things are possible. One, I would have to do some further research on the trial accounts. Maybe the trial accounts can't even get out of the starting area. But I think they can. I think they have a level cap of somewhere between 15 and 20. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but basically, here we're looking at a map of Levion Bay, and after you're done with the Starcom station area, it actually kicks you down to this little island where you then take a transport ship to the next area. It's maybe possible that you missed one of the call prompts, so what you might want to do is all the way down here in the lower right, there's this little button down here. It's like a triangle. Look to see if it's lit up green or if this little one down in the corner is lit up red. You might have to click on one of these and see if you actually missed a call to do a continuation of the quest. But as far as I know, it's really hard to miss that one because it's a continuation of the main story that basically just has you go all the way across the zone into the Starcom station and then down to this little island where you then kill the warbot and then take the shuttle to the next area. So definitely check out those couple of options and see if that's able to fix that for you. But ladies and gentlemen, that will go ahead and do it for this week's episode of the Intergalactic News Network. So with that being said, everybody keep playing and have fun.